tier where it's like, I can see it, but
it would be a bit of a shock.
It would be a surprise.
Yeah, I get that entirely. I think I very much agree with you that HLE would be top of mind, then BLGT1 on the secondary tier, and then after that you're falling down to the how did TL and G2 get to the MSI finals sort of level, right? So this would be a massive win for G2 if they can lock it in. They're going to ban away the Vi to kick things off. T1 once again selecting first selection with their right of first selection, and G2 deciding that they want to be on the blue side. They have the Vi and the Jace removed by G2. Same as usual, they've been banning the Orianna as well. Seraphine, a new ban here from T1.
Yep, Seraphine going to be banned away as they feel like, hey, okay, we've lost Mel, we've lost Ziggs, we've lost some of these kind of top-tier champions. And also, you know what makes Seraphine a lot better is the fact that Lucian is gone.
Yeah.
Because the traditional answer these days is the Melio Lucian to the Ashe Seraphine. So if you're not going to be willing to actually grab that for yourself immediately, you're not necessarily going to be willing to give it away. And we'll see where T1 wants to take us, because they're the ones with the pressure now. And G2 has had the creative answers. It feels like they have been better prepped for the draft, and pressure is on. T1 at home.
Let's see where
down 2-0.
Yeah, it's a massive deficit for them. We've only ever seen 6 reverse sweeps in the history of international League of Legends. One of them was this tournament, G2 taking down Top Esports, but before that, I think it was back in 2023 where BDS reverse swept PSG at Worlds, I want to say play-ins. So it's been a while. It is not a very common affair as the Lee Sin is going to be locked in for Oner.
Well, Oner is an incredible Lee Sin here. It's going to be Varus as the answer, and I wonder if SkewMond would go towards the Skarner. That has been something that a lot of pros do really like. Because of the CC, the ability to actually answer those, and it feels like an obvious answer. I mean, Lee Sin takes the Sonic Wave in, you hit Ishal's impact, you scoop him out of the air, you throw him into the wall, you ult him up. It is very tough. It is, again, about this denial of plays, more so than the offensive plays themselves. But Skarner, of course, can look for those offensive plays as well. And T1 had spent their ban on Poppy, which is another one of those kind of defensive answers in the similar boat to Skarner in my mind. So I like the pick here already.
We're going to see an early Sylas here from T1. Chain of Corruption and Impale are very good ultimates to take away. Will be locked in.
They are. They're definitely not bad, but I don't think it's on that top tier.
It's not an Alistair level.
Exactly. And one of the things that I don't love about the early Sylas is, I mean, Sylas is just a strong champion. If you get ahead, you can just snowball the game if you don't have those S-tier ults. But I will say, when you early pick Sylas, you ensure the other team is not picking Alistar and Malphite and like anything that's crazy, right? And so, yeah, Chains of Corruption is a good pick tool, but it's not the same level as some of the other ults that are, you know, sometimes available. So I'm curious if they're seeing it sometimes as a denial as well, right? If they're like, hey, we don't want to play against this, maybe you can't pick because we have Sylas.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Sylas on the side of G2, you've already got a Dragon's Rage and a Gnar. Those are good ultimates to have, right? Good displacement is
BB.
This will be BB in the top lane on his Yasuo. Often picks this into the Gnar. Seen as a counter pick. In fact, at that MSI back in, when was the 2-3? Was that 24? Back in 2024, I remember this pick. I remember him flashing, doing the Keyblade combo to catch out the Gnar in the top lane.
I mean, it's a real advantage of Broken Blade, and I have to feel like if I'm in Doran's seat, he knows he's not having the kind of series that he wanted. And again, now you're getting counterpicked here. You're in a matchup where if you make a mistake, you could die, right? It's not just going to be a 5 CS advantage. If you are making mistakes, you can cost your team the game because this Yasuo could snowball. I am curious, though, are we going to see things, banned out here that are going to be enablers for the Yasuo? Because we don't have great enablers for the Yasuo yet. You know, are they worried about a potential like Yasuo Yone? Are they worried about more, champions like Nautilus? Are they worried about, the engage tools there from Labrov that could be kind of up and available, like a Rakan or something? To me, if I'm T1, I'm thinking about, okay, how do we make it difficult for him in the 5v5?
Well, they are worried about that Nautilus. They're going to take that away. I wouldn't be surprised by Aurora as well. One of Labrov's actually favorite champions. When he was on BDS, he played it, I want to say, about 80% of the games that he could play it, as that was before Fearless times. We'll see what the second ban is.
In the Dark Ages.
Yeah, man. Imagine if we had Fearless here. So, yeah, we'll play Cassante and Gnar into each other over and over again as the Karma is taken out of possible picks for T1. Their final ban, we expect it to go towards the support pool. to try and remove some of Labrov's agency.
Whether it's Rel or Rakan or whatever. I feel like it's dealer's choice. It's which one are you most worried about? And they are also going to be considering, like, okay, what 2v2 are we considering? And which support would both help the Yasuo and be most annoying with the Varus? So T1 obviously going to be considering a lot of things, but my expectation is you just get another support man.
We'll see where T1 decide to go. Lulu. I mean, it does help that Yasuo. We've actually seen Labrov flash Wild Growth with a Yasuo, with Broken Blade's Yasuo just out of range of getting the last breath.
And in T1C, you're thinking about, oh my god, G2 has been so annoying with these denial picks. The Skarner, now we have the Cho'Gath. You know, if you're thinking about, okay, we want to be playmakers, we want to get in there with Yasuo and Sylas and Gnar and look for big plays, well, Polymorph is pretty darn annoying. When you are looking for those types of angles. We're not going to see the Blitz blind. I just don't believe it.
I don't either.
But it would be fun if we did see it, but I just don't believe it.
Yeah, Aurora makes much more sense. Caps has a absolutely top tier Aurora in my mind. Saw it at first stand specifically against Gen G. And now we'll see what he can do with it in this game. Leaving support for last on G2's side, whereas T1 now going to look towards their AD carry and their top laner. It's going to be a difficult pick for them because, oh, not top laner, sorry, support. It's going to be a difficult pick for them because you do have that counter support for G2.
Feels like it's probably going to be the answer here.
Yeah.
And then the question is, you know, what would be the option for Labrov? A couple of cool stats. The last and only time T1 was ever 3-0'd at an international was Worlds 2017 Finals. The oh-so-famous Malzahar series with Faker, you know, in tears on stage after that. That is an iconic moment. And G2 has never been reverse swept. So there is kind of these two things, you know, working
Unstoppable
here.
force and movable objects.
Exactly. G2, you know, has not been reverse swept. But T1 never really gets 3-0'd. So those are two sides there.
I mean, so here's the thing. T1 could win this game and then G2 win. And we still fulfilled the T1 never gets
split the middle.
Yeah, well, you know, we still fulfilled the T1 side of that bargain as we see the Renata locked in finally for G2.
Renata seems like a really good pick here, I'm not going to lie. I mean, when you are looking over and you are seeing Sylas, Lee Sin, Gnar, I mean, he's melee in teamfight, let's be honest. He's going to be mega. And then as well as the Rakan, you're looking at 3.5, 4 melee champions, and you have hostile takeover. You have bailout if they look for a full-on one-shot. If they full send it on someone, kick him in, try to delete him. Hostile takeover, the bailout, really good tools for denial. Has been a theme these last couple of games to me. Double exhausting game 1, Cho'Gath with the silence for the playmakers in game 2, and game 3 we come in, Renata, Skarner. It's all about denial, it feels like, on the side of G2. Even the win wall really going to cause problems here. So I like the kind of, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the theme of the drafts for G2 has been really, really intelligent. And I think they've correctly identified that a team whose success is based on team fighting is very often based on their playmaking, right? And especially so with T1. When you look at both in the LCK as well as here, when they come back, when they win in team fights, it is an explosive engage from Faker or Keria or Doran Gragas or someone, right? And so G2 is just saying, we're going to draft everything that stops that.
Yeah, make sure that you can't actually get onto our backline. Make sure that you can't actually find these Sonic Wave resonating strikes from Oner. As SkewMond steps forward, we'll be looking for a ward around those Razor Beats, places it to make sure that he can track where Oner is in the early game. And there's a counter ward coming out from Faker towards the enemy Razors. Both junglers going to start on the top side of the map. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Oner do the 3 camp into reset into longsword and then go back down to bot. We often see that on the Lee Sins as Labrov and Hansama try to step up.
And I will say something we haven't talked a ton about is the bot lane 2v2, and I feel like that is a huge victory for G2, right? Because one of our biggest questions coming in is, are you good enough to hold up in the 2v2 against Peyz and Keria, who have the ability to make so many of the world's best players look silly, right? And it just hasn't even been a conversation point because it has not been about the 2v2.
Speaking of, Peyz getting chased out here. Loyalty program doesn't get him, but they do manage to take a couple of autos out of him. There was a heal used on the side of G2, and Keria hits the Gleaming Quill, so that will heal Peyz back up. He's only gone through one of his potions so far.
Yeah, you really got to dodge the Rakan Qs. It's very similar to Soraka, where when you hit a Q, not only is it a positive trade as far as the damage, but it's a third of a potion every time. And he just hit 2 in a row, so that's plus 100 health there for Peyz, which means he gets to hold on to his potion, no problem. Oner very early up towards top side, though. They feel like they need to get Broken Blade involved. I think Doran not being level 3 makes it pretty tough, though.
We talked about the possibility of a 3-camp into longsword. He's actually staying around a little bit longer here. Oner, as Broken Blade goes in, what doesn't connect. Oner here with that level 3. Broken Blade looking for the Mortal Steel. Has to try and dash away, but still, even with the wallop falling short, Broken Blade has no way out. First blood, Oner.
Nice pathing there from Oner. BB did about as well as he can, given the circumstances. You know, Doran, he was able to avoid some of the skill shots coming in from Doran, avoided the boulder toss. You know, didn't just dash into the wallop that was pre-pressed there by Doran. But Lee Sin's auto-attacking you. You're going to go down in that spot. SkewMond going to get back what he can on the other side, so he does steal away one of those camps. But it is going to be an early pickaxe buy here for Oner, so he's going to be big man on campus. And T1 trying to put Doran into a more comfortable spot. Faker versus Caps, though, one of the most iconic matchups in international history. These guys have battled so many times, and there are the accolades. Domestic title 17 for Caps, just absurd. As Doran did receive a gank and then received a trade that made him want another.
Yes, he's like, oh, I've got my Cull. It's not going to be enough to survive through the Yasuo, who can continually jump onto you and then dash away. Windwall also doing really well into the boomerang because Labrov flashing away from Keria there was going to get caught up in that ground entrance. Well played by Keria. Blade Caller won't get the root.
It is always a weird spot when you have 600 gold, which I'm assuming that's what he based with, because you know he goes Cole refillable, right? Oh, Peyz.
SkewMond in with the Ishtar's impact. They'll catch out Peyz handshake back as well, but Peyz able to survive, burns the barrier with a flash! But Hun Summer burns it down and flashes away from the Gleaming Quill. All summoners lost for T1's bots.
That's a big-time gank there from SkewMond, and great follow-up from Hans and Labrov. Peyz thought with the barrier he didn't have to early flash, and he was made to regret it big time as he allowed the Ishtal's impact to get him and gets punished there big time. And Broken Blade doing a solid for SkewMond here, chasing him out of his jungle.
Faker. Caps won't be able to kill him, but because Faker can't move and because Doran doesn't want to move from top, as you say, Broken Blade comes across and saves the Grump.
I mean, that's the dream as a jungler. You get to make a gank on the other side. The payment is supposed to be your camps. But your top laner says, no, you don't get that either. So let's watch this one more time. You know, Peyz easily could have reacted to this with a flash, but his calculation is, I have barrier, we have heal, you can't kill me. So they use the heal early, but look at the redirection of the angle there, and it looked like the handshake connected as well, I do believe. You know, so was able to get that follow-up, and then Hans Q flash in, does take him down, and then the reactive flash, even though the bailout was quick, the bailout doesn't matter if you die because you're not going to kill Keria in that spot. And they are pumped up, to say the least, there on the G2 side.
Yeah, leads across the bottom of the map. Caps as well with a 300 gold lead. Doran is ahead of Broken Blade, and Oner does have an advantage over SkewMond. Getting towards that level 6 as well, just short of 5 right now as Broken Blade looks for a trade onto Doran once again. We haven't seen too many rush drakes in this series, often actually seeing the grubs taken around the same time. That's a good, I think, BB's going to hit 6 off the next minion, and Doran, expecting that, didn't want to get caught out.
Well, Doran got his E interrupted, and he could go for Q
Broken
flash.
Blade flashes in. A last breath for Doran, begins to dash away, but he has no flash left. The Steel Tempest needs to connect, and Broken Blade with a full blade is able to get a solo bolo.
Top gap. Doran gets solo killed there. Big misplay as he tried to use the hop.
Thank you going in onto Caps. Caps will use his own Between Worlds to cause a Venn diagram of escaping to happen.
So Doran tried to hop out and got interrupted by the Q. He didn't actually wait for it to come out, so he got interrupted there. Then he just kind of panicked, got nervous, had to flash early, and then no flash, no jump, and BB is massively ahead. 600 gold up after you got a 3-camp gank from your jungler. That is a disaster class from Doran, and G2 up 1K early.
Faker here as well. Jumping in as they look for Labrov, and Labrov will fall. SkewMond trying to contest with only his support. The Blade Caller there for the root. SkewMond needs the Ishtal's impact to get away and will manage to survive. Caps was unable to move from mid, was actually recalling when that started because he was still low HP.
Yeah, they do get them off the dragon, though, so that is going to mean the early Ocean Dragon that is so effective, T1 not able to actually get. So G2 do go over there, cost them a death, but they stop the dragon. So not the worst, not the best. BB on these counter picks, showing up big once again here. You know, putting that pressure on Doran, and Doran just not rising to the occasion thus far. You know, felt that pressure, early flashed, early jumped, then had neither, and gets caught by BB, who still had his flash available. And that is just such a big-time play here, and it's all about this earlier one. So E-Flash, he has no flash, and he has no jump because he used both on that previous attempt. If he had either one, he walks out and he's chilling, but he has nothing, and Broken Blade makes it look easy, hits everything, finds the all-in, and that is what you want from your players in these big-time moments. That's
what you want from Broken Blade as well. If you're a G2 fan, this guy has been... He's been on the struggle bus, Azael. He has not been dominant in the lane as much as you'd want him to be. There have been questions as to whether his performance is of higher caliber enough to be on G2. And now, after the HLE loss that was so disappointing for all of EU, to show up like this, to have 3 games where he has been dominant, as we see the handshake coming back, grand entrance there as well. Feather Storm, Hans Summer has a bailout on him. Chain of Corruption down, Hans Summer will come back to life with the barrier. Peyz flashes away and survives, almost dies. Labrov flashes for him, but the auto can't get in range because he's not able to see him. Great play from the T1 bot lane to get out of that alive.
Yeah, and T1 bot lane, they needed some momentum. They needed some life in this series here, and they show up big time when they need it most. Hans, did his flash come up after he died? Was it that tight? I really want to see that back. And maybe the observers could track that.
Played corner, well played. Peyz walked around outside of vision. Labrov trying to hold the way for his AD carry, but it costs him dearly.
Yeah, and Hans not going to be able to get in and get anything. Faker looking.
I think he's just distracting Caps as Oner was doing the Drake Impale used. That's sidestepped by Caps.
Yeah, good sidestep there. Big couple kills though for T1. And Broken Blade getting a nice little chunk there. Doesn't want to fully commit because Doran was about to mega out. You look for the all-ins after the mega. Here it is one more time. Peyz and Hans, both level 6. Gets the pull through. Really nice start. And then in comes the handshake. They don't have it for the disengage. As soon as that is used onto Peyz, Keria says, you can't stop me now. Goes in immediately. I love how Peyz plays the wall there the whole time because it's all about getting the damage down and then flashing out before he can get the reset on the bailout. So he gets all of his damage down, hugs the wall the whole time so he can flash over. Then we see there from Labrov, he tried to follow and kill him off, but he lost vision as he went into that brush. Even with the ward, it was a little bit too late. And now Peyz very close to having his first item.
Chase onto Keria, impaled to pull him back. Oner's on the way across, and with a battle chance, the chain of corruption will land, but Oner is here now, and T1 will try and turn the play around. Peyz so low, flash from SkewMond gets him. A grand entrance onto Hans Summer, but the turnaround has turned into a hostile takeover by G2. They'll find 2 on the bottom side.
Yeah, they lose out on the 2v2, but they bring the extra man this time. SkewMond making the difference, gets down there. Hans, Labrov, and SkewMond getting a couple kills, and Broken Blade might look for an all-in.
Gnar back, Broken Blade, can he land? Doesn't go for the sweeping blade in the end. Doran forced away, again, does have the TP. And the question now for G2 is how do you accelerate this Yasuo? Like, he is winning in the 1v1, but do you want to get him out on the map? Do you want to play around that next Drake in 3 minutes time? They have got 3 grubs, so all the time that BB has alone in that top lane is advantageous to him.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think it's going to be up to BB and when he thinks he can no longer punish. Keria tries to go clear for some vision. He had a ward over the wall, but not on that side. SkewMond was not spotted, and this Chains of Corruption was huge. And look at the confidence from Hans Summer. He does not delay. Flashes in with the Q. Once again, they get that final auto as SkewMond flashes to follow as well. If they slow play it, I thought there was an angle for Oner to turn this around on them, but instead they just go immediately, and now G2 overloading top side. 4 members top. Doran cannot play.
Caught out by the Steel Tempest. Last breath coming out from Broken Blade as well as he forces Doran away. 2 plates still remain, almost 1 on this top lane tower. 11 minutes in, G2 with 4 members strong. Oner going forward. Great handshake from Labrov. He'll tank the tower instead. Doran has the mega quickness from the side. Chain of Corruption coming out from Hans Summer, but he's caught with the wall of it. Shoves him back from SkewMond into the double impale! G2 always have their teammates back. Faker forced down towards the bottom side. SkewMond looking for the chase. Doran jumps the wall, but Caps is here, and he sends Doran into the afterlife. T1 try to defend, G2 turn it on its head.
SkewMond trying to burst him down. Can he finish off Faker? He has a Kingslayer.
He gets a 1-for-1. Keria does not do the same. Caps secures that kill to round it out.
The other story, though, is that Peyz was pushing bot lane the whole time, getting solo gold on that plate. G2 do get the first tower, though. They finish it off critically. At the end of the day, they had 5 members top. T1 only had 4. G2 have a 2,000 gold lead here on match point. The pressure is on. Peyz with those early kills isn't even up gold anymore.
The weirding out only with an alternator there for Camps. Does have 4 stacks on the Dark Seal, but now for G2, the 0-3 loss against HLE, a distant memory. I think a lot of EU fans, myself included, were like, oh, you know, it's going to be 0-3, 0-3, and now against the 3-time back-to-back world champions, T1 look battered and bruised. They are finding things, and last time we saw a big gold lead for G2, T1 were able to eke their way back into the game. But it can be a struggle. Keria on this Rakan has had a great game so far, and he'll continue to look for these picks.
He really has, but I just feel like, again, I like G2's tools more, right? You know, when you think about how the fights are likely to go, you have Gnar going Mega, and when he is Mega, T1 are 4 melee champions against Labrov here, who is going to have the hostile takeover, against SkewMond, who has the Impale, all this AoE CC, all the damage that can come in from Caps. And Peyz, you're relying on him to get so much of the damage done, but Windwall makes that very, very difficult as well. So you are relying on one of these picture-perfect engages that we know that Oner and Doran and Keria and Faker are capable of delivering, but they haven't really been able to find them so far in this series. G2 has just had great answers throughout.
Peyz, the only player on T1 with a lead, does have the Essence Reaver complete to the Static Shiv for Hans Summer. Drake up in 3 seconds' time. Caps caught out by the Wallop. Doran just looking to take him low. Caps doesn't have TP, Doran does. So if Caps wants to make it a 4v4 around this Drake, he needs to chase Doran out as they look for the engage on Broken Blade. The quickness lands the charm, good wind wall, but BB can't survive through them. T1 find a great pick around the Drake, and because of that, G2 unlikely to take the fight. A handshake, okay, good deal. You can have that one, you took our top laner.
Yeah, they're going to look to try to get a couple plates here. SkewMond and Labrov not looking for a fight, just looking to keep them away from these minions here mid, as Peyz and Keria try to make their way back over to defend this tower. And that was a bit of a risky position that Broken Blade was in. He did have the flash, he had the wind wall, so he felt he was going to be in a decent spot to find that angle, come in behind them, punish T1 as they went for that dragon. But there's a lot of mobility on this T1 roster. The ability to chase down with the quickness, with all of the dashes on Faker and Oner, are showing, you know, why you have to still pay that respect.
Caps gets his recall off just before Doran checks the bush. Broken Blade trying to defend this tier 1 on the bottom side, but we talk about the dashes, and Broken Blade might need to find a way out of this one. Last breath used by Faker, the sweeping blade from Broken Blade. He doesn't have the shield, and Peyz will take his life.
They do the Yasuo combo to the Yasuo. They got the Lee Sin to set it up for that stolen last breath. Caps, Labrov, and SkewMond all coming in, but Faker is still behind them. They don't know!
They flash in, they look for the engage. The hostile takeover lands, but only onto Faker and Oner. Peyz not auto-attacking his teammates. In the end, T1 able to defend for now. Peyz with a good blade caller. A TP behind. SkewMond now on the back foot. Ishtal's impact interrupted. The weirding from Caps doesn't find its mark, and Doran's here to join the party. SkewMond with the Impale only lands it onto one, and Faker very happily will be pulled into his grasp. T1 with great reactions on the bot lane fight.
It's been about Peyz and Keria for so much of this year for T1, and when they need them most, they are stepping up. Absolutely. Oner and Faker being active, but Peyz now on 2 items, 700 gold lead here, and Broken Blade got caught one time, one mistake on the flank, lost his flash, lost his life, and that prompted T1 to go right back at him, because without that flash, it is so difficult to escape from those situations. And now Doran going to be able to get back in this off that tower. He's up 300 gold. Peyz with a nice lead in this game, going back ever so slightly in T1's favor. They have the dragons, they have a tiny gold lead, and we'll see what they can do with it.
I mean, the 2K deficit that T1 were in has disapparated. It's gone. Now T1 with the advantage, with the 2 Drakes held, started by Broken Blade, but not really a true contest out of G2. Caps trying to farm up in the side lane. One of the small gold leads that G2 have is on his shoulders, but it's only 160. As T1 have fought back valiantly in this game. G2 trying to contest around the Herald. Faker goes in the Impale, just short of the Stinger there.
Yeah, not quite going to clip him. And Yeah, Caps isn't up a ton of gold, but he is very strong, and he is going for a really high damage build here. He's going Sork Boots, and we're assuming that could be even a Shadow Flame second. He's looking for burst, and there are some squishy members over on the T1 side. If he can catch Peyz, Peyz is that strong member. Yes, you have the Azael. Yes, you have tools, but sometimes Aurora just needs one combo, and you are gone, or at least you're put so low that you're out of the fight. We can see G2 just trying to force this.
T1 looking for the contest. Faker hasn't hijacked an ultimate as of yet. Sonic Wave hits onto SkewMond. Smite comes out. G2 get the Herald. T1 unable to find purchase in a way they wanted to start that fight off, and G2 don't really need to force it.
Yeah, T1 we're trying to delay because the hijack is just back up right now. So I think they were hoping, okay, we use the Impale early. Maybe we can get them nervous about the fight, pull them back, steal and all, then use that as a tool. Because as much as I have talked about hostile takeover, a stolen hostile takeover is also very, very dangerous. Yes, you have wind wall. Yes, you have tools to maybe answer that. But they have to be there. They have to be available. So T1 was trying to keep them around. That is a lot of crystals on that turret. So Peyz going to grab some more gold for himself as he just keeps on farming, hoovering up all this gold around the map. And he has just been a monster in the team fights.
Skew looking for Faker. Has the flash, has the rocket belt. Ishtar's impact comes in. Faker dashes away, uses the flash, uses the rocket belt, but Broken Blade's there for the chase. And with the impale, there's no escape for Faker. BB with his third of the game.
Nicely done there by Broken Blade. SkewMond and Broken Blade get up towards topside, kill off Faker, get his flash. Don't have any flashes of their own to spend, and they don't even need them. A little surprised that Faker actually even went for the flash from that position, given that when you looked at the map, no one was right there. Often when you see Faker spending the summoners in those spots, it is to buy time for someone who's sprinting up the river. They didn't have that in position, and we can check in on the Coinbase gold grind. This is the big advantage right now for T1. It is gold on Peyz, on the Xayah, a champion that can be so dangerous in the team fight. But again, G2 with a lot of tools to answer. The wind wall, the potential dive, the flank from the Aurora, the hostile takeover he has to be careful of. There's a lot of things that Peyz needs to play around.
You only have one Featherstorm, and that one has to be used perfectly. The rest of it on that Mikhails that Keria has picked up, the quickness to distract the enemy team as well, the Gnar as well. There's a lot of tools in T1's collective toolkit to keep Peyz safe, but G2 have a lot of tools in theirs to try and dive on that Xayah. TP towards the mid lane here by Caps. Broken Blade waiting in the darkness towards the top side. He's pushed that wave into Doran, but he doesn't want to show too easily. Doran's just gone Mega Gnar. The Drake down to 5,000. It's T1 who are sitting on it right now. Broken Blade trying to chase Doran through that topside jungle. Caps goes in across the Veil. Keria just short of getting clipped by that handshake. Double TPs come out as Doran is matched by Broken Blade. Infernals, Drake secured for G2. Ishtar's impact coming for the follow-up. There's the Featherstorm. Peyz charged into by the Rift Tower, but a great charm on the backline. Keria finds all four of them. Peyz takes out SkewMond. Between worlds we go, and to the afterlife go T1. On Summer on the chase. Doran trying to escape, but I think the G2 have got him. Broken Blade slices him in twain as T1, only Faker and Keria remain.
The Battle Herald did so much work for G2 in that fight. They go in, they got the early Featherstorm off of Peyz, and that Chains of Corruption from Han Sama chained to 4 members, I believe, from T1. They were getting rooted up one after another after another. Everyone from G2 piled in. Caps immediately flashed onto Peyz, and we can watch this one more time. They summon up the Herald, and they decide, okay, the threat of the Herald is enough. Both top laners are TPing in. You can see both coming in the back of the fight. And then after they secure it, the instant Herald from Caps. Caps is going to charge in towards that backline, and Peyz uses the early on the hostile takeover, but then lands on the Herald. And now watch Caps. As soon as he pops out of the Herald on this side, he's going to insta-flash onto Peyz. He goes in onto him, pushing him back. The Chains of Corruption came through and just immediately rooted up so many members there. Cap survives that final auto, gets out, and is able to knock him down. And just so well played there by G2, and just putting that pressure on the backline.
Ishtar's impact coming out. Dragon's Rage has to be used for the disengage. Faker was chasing Caps in the picture-in-picture, and in the end, Faker and Oner will be allowed to retreat out of the lane, it feels, because there's an Impale and there's a flash. Between Worlds also available for Caps. Keria looking to see perhaps if Broken Blade steps up a little bit too far. SkewMond finds him. Faker found and locked against the wall, and Faker in this bot lane is destined to fall. Caps secures it, a killing spree for the Aurora. Mid lane pushed in. It looks like bot lane's going to be 2. Doran allowed by Broken Blade to take this top lane tower because Keria was nearby.
And just like that, we're back above where the gold lead was before. It is now 2.3K here, 2.4K briefly for G2, and they are pushing in on this next tower, looking to extend that gold lead even further. Caps getting so fed right now.
T1 still have all those options. We talked about them a bunch. We talked about how good their team fighting is, and although they have not shown it to their epitome in this series, you know they can turn it on like that. T1, such a resilient team, such an experienced team. All it takes is a single blink. You take your eyes off them, and T1 look for players like this. Faker behind, Broken Blade looks to recall out. Doran's on his way. Faker spots him with the Scryer's Bloom. A 2-level advantage at the moment for Broken Blade, but it's going to be a 4-man advantage for T1 when the rest of their team reacts. Wind wall down, Keria here, a grand entrance, and a swift exit for Broken Blade. The last breath, the last he breathes. T1 with great reactions.
Yeah, great reactions. Now they're going to force the Baron. Guaranteed. This is a T1 classic. Get a pick, go to the Baron, force the issue here. But Faker has no ultimate up to steal anything, and he is low. So T1 say, okay, G2 responded too quick. We got to get out of here.
And it's moments like that that make T1. They are so good at finding those little avenues back into a game after they begin to fall behind. Smart of them to back off, I have to say. I think a Chain of Corruption hostile takeover between worlds combo there would have been pretty deadly, as Oner is showing here on a ward.
I think he's trying to maybe look for a side lane play, but he doesn't know he's been spotted. The bot lane from T1 is in that top lane brush, I still believe. So they have 3 members up there, but all of G2 are coming. They're outnumbered. They don't know.
SkewMond will face check. Keria and Peyz are waiting. There's the quickness. They jump on Caps. Labrov here with the bailout. Featherstorm out from Peyz. The bailout on Caps won't come down in time. The dash back, the hostile takeover, only hitting onto Keria. Chain of Corruption out of hand. Summer Grand Entrance going to get him knocked up. Peyz getting chased out, slammed against the wall. Summer opens up and Peyz falls. A double for the Varus. T1 now on the back foot as Broken Blade looks for more. Needs to land the knockup. Faker dodges with the rocket belt. Keria, Gleaming Quill for the heal. G2 might turn their attentions towards the Baron. Doran halfway to Mega.
Has no wind wall. Hostile takeover.
Hostile takeover. Only clips Labrov. And Doran, even with the Gnar against the wall, still gets knocked up. Faker dives in. Summer at a 3rd HP. Slammed into the wall by the Ishtal's impact. And the impact of SkewMond's Singer is felt again as Faker now on 10 HP. Chased out of the jungle. He's going to try and dodge away. Keria's on his way across as well. But here's the Scorpion King as SkewMond finds him.
Nicely done by G2 again. T1 making the best of a bad situation. They were outnumbered. That ward from G2 spotted Oner going up there. But G2 was not aware. Oh, no, they were. They were aware that even Keria was up there. So they pinged out both. And they knew that this is a possibility, so that's why they overloaded this side of the map. I wasn't sure if they had spotted Keria or not, but we got to go back to live because it's a solo kill onto Caps. How did that happen?
I have no clue, Azael. As the TP comes in and T1 are calling for the Baron. Oner actually at the Inferno right now. It might just be Doran looking to get a little bit of vision. G2 are the ones around the Baron right now. Inferno Drake has been begun by Oner. Would be their 3rd of the game. Put them on soul point.
So Peyz did spend his flash in that, so it has to be some sort of E-flash that did catch him off guard. We'll see if G2 can punish Peyz. Missing that summoner, it means that T1 will go to soul point. So we'll see this one more time. Cap just goes into stealth. Got to be an E-flash to the side. Yep, just caught him with the E-flash. Brilliant play.
Impale happening on the screen as Faker uses the hijacked Impale as well. Keria trying to get the quickness on towards the back line as the hostile takeover catches onto Faker and Doran on the back. Peyz has Featherstorm available as Keria tries to step forward. They'll jump onto Summer, kicking back. He almost takes out Doran, but Peyz gets the kill. Cap CPing in, but T1 are turning it around. Once again, their magic reigns supreme as T1 win out the fight.
Peyz getting that pick triggers everything here for T1. He gets the pick, they force the issue, and the trade of Impales there between Faker as Keria is behind Caps. Are they going to look for the turn? They are. Here comes Faker.
Grand Entrance comes out, but across the veil goes Caps. Labrov and Broken Blade trying to trade towards the top side. Peyz getting chased out by BB, but he can't get the Steel Tempest down in time. Peyz gets the kill. Labrov going to get taken out by Faker as well. Between worlds we go, and into the grave goes Labrov. Caps able to survive, but look at the turn from T1. Baron buff for the next 3 minutes. Caps recalling. Keria and Faker do not want to let him get away. They'll chase him down and in the end have to dash out.
They do delay the recalls though, so that means they're going to get mid lane tower. They're pushing in multiple lanes. Doran shoving up top as T1 really starting to battle back here. They needed some big performances. They've only been swept once in international history, back in 2017. That is a long time ago. And they are trying to stave off that defeat here as SkewMond could be in trouble.
Quickness out of Keria. SkewMond trying to get out. They'll go for Hansama instead. The Dragon's Rage kick, though, saves him. Hansama kicked across the wall by Oner, and now with a double impale, Labrov's there with a hostile takeover as well. They'll pull them back underneath the tower. Oner takes a tower shot, still gets the kill. No, he doesn't. In fact, he went in with a resonating strike, and now SkewMond is a little bit too deep as he is going to get taken out by T1. The collapse continues. Hansama chased out by Keria. Needs the Gleaming Quill. Needs the auto attacks. He'll get them. Labrov falls as well. Broken Blade slammed in by the Gnar. T1. It looked disastrous, but still they get a 4-for-1.
And that is what makes T1 such a special team. A mistake from one player, but the others are there to cover, there to make up for it. T1 pile in. Only 3-0'd once at internationals, and it looks like they are on the brink of guaranteeing that will not happen today. But G2 not out of this just yet. Caps is back.
The threat of
will
Caps
be able to hold on
with the Between Worlds is too great for T1 to stay around. They'll take the inhib tower and the inhib. The recall comes out from Peyz and Keria. A 4,000 gold lead now for T1. Well, have another look at this. Because Hansama should have died.
He absolutely should have, and this is just kind of a miscalculation here. Thought he had the damage to kill him with the Dragon's Rage, but saves him. And in comes Labrov, and this is where you're thinking, this is a disaster here for T1. But the problem is, no TP on Caps, and Caps is pushing top lane. Everyone from T1 is piling in. Had Caps been able to join, if he was TPing in behind them in this moment, it's a completely different story. But even with that mistake, it does not matter because all of T1 comes in, they support the play, they pile in, they wipe them off the map here. And T1 making up for that misstep from Oner. It's a rare one from him on Lee Sin, and they have the full court press now.
What a game, Azael. What a game. T1, and with 10 seconds left on their Baron power play, will just back away. They have a massive lead for Peyz, 2.2k ahead. Only, well, it's 4 items to 4.5 really between the two AD carries. But we'll see those resets coming out. We'll see if we get more in those inventories.
And the amount of damage that he's going to do with this build, this is a full offensive build here. He's got his IE, his LDR, he's 100% crit, and he has the QSS on top, plus some Mikhails from Keria, and Keria went Bandle Pipes, so he is kind of playing that pseudo-enchanter role.
Oh, Keria steps in, Battle Dance away. Infernal Drake up in 50 seconds time would be sold for T1. SkewMond with the smite, impale used by Faker, he pulls back the Skarner, and Peyz begins to open up, and Peyz just rips through SkewMond. The hostile takeover dodge to the side as well. Labrov can't escape. T1 as a 5-man squad, just chase them down. Between worlds we go, the quickness on the back line as Oner with the kick this time delivers Hansama into the waiting arms of his team. No sweep today, no 3-0. T1 with the resilience, with the experience, will not be denied a series.
T1 battling back here, showing some life in Game 3. And Faker smiling as they march on the Nexus. This one was a huge one, and we have got ourselves a series.
We're going to hand it over to the analyst desk to break that one down.
Okay, T1 keeping it interesting in the end here. This will not be a clean sweep. Jad, you have thoughts?
I mean, Medic's been amazing. He said no sweep today. I feel like there's a way there is still a sweep today.
No!
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Get him out of here! I don't want that!
Their aura is incredible.